We're praying that this piece that I'm holding is the only damage that is on the engine for my Mercedes GLE63 AMG. Otherwise, I'm in big trouble. Because when we were trying to fix an oil leak on this engine in the last video, we found nasty cracks in the upper sump, which isn't good. So now what we're hoping for is when we take this off to replace it with the new one, that there's not anything more severe hiding behind it. Keep our fingers crossed.
And the reason why my car's in such a bad state is because I bought it from a salvage auction and it looked like this. Now we've already made a start on the repair work to this car by dropping the engine out and replacing the chassis leg. And this was a massive job. But once all that was on, we could get the running gear refitted and get the car rolling again. But to get it moving under its own power, we're gonna need an engine. And with the plans that we've got for this car, an engine with cracks in it is gonna be no good. So we're praying that once we get this sump off, there's nothing nasty lurking behind it. Which could be a massive problem because we've set ourselves the goal of trying to drive this car by the end of this video.
And to fix these minor cracks in that sump has turned into a way bigger job than what we first thought. And that's because we've basically got to take apart the whole engine.
And that's no joke. We found out after doing some research the sump is the second thing which they put on this engine when they assemble it. So we've basically got to strip everything off in order to access all the bolts for it.
Torque converter disconnected. Now, gearbox off.
Now it's important when doing a job of this size to stay organised, so every bolt I take out for the gearbox stuff is going into a piece of cardboard, so when I put it back together, I don't put the wrong length bolt in the wrong hole. But now the gearbox bolts are out, we can separate that from the engine. But there's still so much more to go. We've got to take off both of these pieces, which are basically adapter plates. Which then reveals the first part of this car, which to me is alien, and it's part of the hybrid system.
This is where the torque converter bolts into. And then this behind here is basically what replaces the starter motor in this. It doesn't have a conventional one. This is going to turn the engine over by using the 48 volt battery which it's got, which obviously gets rid of the need for that. But it makes it complicated and also something I don't understand. But we're going to keep going. This is how we figure stuff out. We take it apart, probably break it, and then try and put it back together.
Cool. So
maybe,
look.
Maybe it was worth the effort. There.
That was well worth it, mate.
Here, here, here. We wouldn't have seen that either.
No.
Could you see it on the other side?
No.
What the hell? That's mad, isn't it?
Yeah.
Look at the size of that, and then on the other side there's nothing. These little cracks here are the reason why we changed it.
That's what you noticed, didn't it?
The reality of it is, would it have leaked? We don't know, but the engine's out. You may as well try and make it the best you can whilst you're there, isn't it?
Well, if you're going to modify it, and that is definitely a weak point, mate, all day long.
Now, I know all of that ain't going to make the cut because we've got so much to do in this video, but let me run you through quickly all of the stuff which we've had to take off to get to that upper sump. Inlet manifold, gearbox, charge coolers, throttle body, crank pulley, airboxes, 2 other gearbox bits, and the starter as well. What a job that was. Imagine doing that just if you had a leaky sump. So whilst Mickey's cleaning up the mating surface, we've got all new bolts for this to mount to the engine. We've got a new gasket which goes in here, and the rest of it is made up by sealant. So we've got to run that all the way around the edge on this kind of machine surface to make sure that it seals properly. If we get that wrong and it leaks, then we've got to do all of that again and take it out of the car to do it.
Right.
Oh no, actually. I just don't trust it.
Oh, is it snapped?
Exactly like that.
No, what's happened?
It snapped.
What did?
one of the bolts.
It's not what we need, is it? No. What was I just saying?
Yeah, we were literally just saying, how can you trust it? That didn't even start beeping then, did it?
No,
or even anywhere near it? Yeah.
10 Newton meters and it breaks. All fresh bolts.
Well, not even 10 Newton meters.
Well, yeah.
Didn't make it to 10 Newton meters.
So this really was the last thing we needed, and we thought the only way we were going to have a chance of getting that bolt out is taking out this rear main seal plate. And hopefully when we get it off, there's enough material left for us to put some pliers on it and turn the bolt out.
No way. That's awkward, that.
Yeah.
How are we gonna get you out then? Part of me wants to cut a slice, but is that risky?
So we can either drill it out, try and weld a nut onto it, or try and use something to put an indentation into it so we can put a flathead screwdriver on the end and turn it out by hand.
Ah, I've got it.
Shut up.
I've got it. Yes. Yeah, boy. Oh, what a relief.
I feel like that's like God tier level.
That is
ingenuity, yeah.
I can't believe the screwdriver snapped into it. It must be so soft.
Yeah, but you sacrificed the screwdriver.
Worth it, worth every penny. Now, one of the most challenging parts with rebuilding any car is getting the car fault free, which is why it's been super handy for us to have OBD11 when it comes to fixing these cars and getting them so they work properly. OBD11 works best with BMW, Mini, Rolls-Royce, Toyota, Lexus and all VAG Group cars, and it couldn't be much easier to use. Pop the device into the car's OBD2 port, hit connect on the app, and with a single press of a button, you can scan the car for fault codes. So we've got a couple of faults on the sound system of this car, which I'll have to look into because they're news to me, but thanks to OBD11, I know that they're there. For now though, I can simply swipe up to clear the codes. With OBD11, you get a bunch of one-touch applications which you can turn on, and these are cool individual features which you can activate to transform the way your car feels, drives, or looks. So for example, we can change the way the indicators perform, the way the steering response is, and all sorts of notifications and warnings. But one which has interested me this time is the Howdex all-wheel drive settings, because what we can do with this is actually change the way that this system works. And we can make it so it has increased traction by sending more power to the rear end of the car. So I'm going to turn that on right now. Just like that, it's done. And now when I fire it up, I've got more rear wheel drive in my Quattro. Now, OBD11 does basic diagnostics for any car fitted with an OBD2 port, but works best on those cars which I listed earlier. So if you want to take over diagnostics on your own car, turn on a bunch of cool features and do basic diagnostics on any car fitted with an OBD2 port, make sure to check out OBD11 using discount code SLIX20, which is going to save you 20% off any of their packages bar the device on its own. Use the link in the description. And thank you OBD11 for helping me fix my cars and for sponsoring this video, but for now, let's try and get this GLE sorted. Good news, we have now our new replacement bolts, so we can fit up the rear main seal and plate, but there's a problem. Because we took this off, when I went to take out that bolt, we've disturbed it, which means ideally, you really don't want to be putting it back in. Do you want to know the good news? Back order. I really don't want to put this back on because it feels like it's always then going to go wrong. That's my thing, so we'll come up with a solution. But for now, I'm just wishing we didn't take this off and I just did my fix without, you know, just through the hole that it snapped in, but that's life, that's how things go. So for now, we have some other stuff which we need to fix on the GLE, and it is just here. We've already put in the piece which we were missing off our kind of inner wing chassis leg repair thing, so that's now done. This is now ready to accept its engine, but it will never really start or work properly because all of the wiring's damaged. I don't know, this is either a really good purchase or a really bad one. Any guesses? It's a wiring loom. But we had an issue. Let me get this out actually. Sharp twisting motion.
Yeah.
Nice.
Lift with your back.
Yep. Now, this is the wiring loom from a GLE W167 diesel. Now, the body loom should be the same. The main difference should be the engine wiring loom for the 63 will be different, but that's not what we're doing. Now, this is the only complete wiring loom for sale. They're made to order from Mercedes, so you can't buy one from them if you want it in reasonable time, that is. So this really is my only option, but there's a catch. because somewhere in this loom there is some damage. That's a very clean cut. Oh no. Oh. No. So I bought this loom and I asked the guy, do you know where the damage is on the car? And the answer was no. And I think that is exactly the same place that we needed, isn't it?
Yeah.
Red and green, quite chunky.
Yeah.
Yeah. Twisted white and blue. Damn it. I knew it was a risk, but I was hoping it would pay off. It's dirty play really by the seller.
It is.
It is, because let me show you, I'll show you now what they showed us. So they showed us that, which is that. So it's obviously had a bit of fire damage or something. But that doesn't matter because we checked these colours and that wasn't what we needed. But conveniently, they have shown that one. They have shown that cut there, that end, but they just completely forgot to show all of that.
The thing is, the description about damage is correct over there, but that is clearly, it's chopped.
So even though we were hoping we could make steps forward, we couldn't. The exact area where we needed this loom not to be damaged, which wasn't disclosed by the seller, it's been chopped clean off. And we're really running out of options here because we can't buy it from Mercedes if we want to get this car finished this year, and no second-hand sellers want to sell them. So to get this fixed, we're going to have to think outside the box. So me and the boys set about trying to find a wiring loom that we can use, or a car that's being broken where they will sell us either a cut or the entire loom. It doesn't matter as long as we've got the section that we need. And even though there is plenty of GLEs being broken on the internet, none of them wanted to sell us any of the wiring. Trust me, we tried all of them.
But after spending days of searching, we still haven't got a solution. There's one thing which we can do, which is a risk, but it might pay off.
And that is this. This is a GLS63S loom. So a GLS is like a GLE, just a bit bigger and a bit longer. But I'm hoping there is no tech difference because on the loom itself, it has an A167 part number. Bear with me here. Part numbers beginning with those 4 digits are what I used on the GLE. That's the W167 chassis. And the GLS is basically a bigger version of that. But the fact it has an A167 part numbered loom gives me the idea that there isn't going to be many differences, especially at the front end of the car. If there is going to be any differences, hopefully they're going to be at the back end, because that's where most of the differences in the car are. Now I'm clutching at strings really hoping this is going to work. I wouldn't recommend trying this if you're doing it yourself, but it really is the only option that we've got. So I'm going to spend the £500 and take the risk, and hopefully this time it pays off. After all that bad news, it's time for some good news. And the good news is that we finally have our new rear main seal plate. Now this was on back order from Mercedes, so basically impossible to get, but we managed to find this one on eBay and had to import it from Europe, but this will do the job. So, got to get this installed. We've already prepped the mating surface. This takes the same seal that we used on the sump, fit this up and bolt it in with some more new bolts. Now, I found out the reason why these snapped. I thought they were torqued to 10 Newton meters, they're not. I didn't realise these were aluminium bolts, and they are torqued to 2 Newton meters and then 60 degrees, so nowhere near as tight as what we were trying to do. It was exactly why that happened. So it's my fault, not blaming anyone else, but these things happen. So I'll get some sealants on here, we'll try and get this on, and then we can get this engine back together and ready to put in the car and try and start it for the first time. No pressure, guys. Now I've got to be honest, I don't have a torque wrench which does 2 Newton meters. I've asked around locally as well, no one else has one, so we're just gonna have to wing it. I feel like 2 is like nothing, 10 feels like nothing sometimes, so I'm just gonna go round them in order, or in opposites, and go 2, like that, holding it like that, yeah? It's one of those things that you can't always have the right tools for everything, can you? So I can carefully tighten all of the bolts in, praying that they don't snap. Then using a cardboard template, I can get my 60 degrees. I don't want to do that again, that's horrible. Especially when you've not got super precise tools, and as soon as you go over that mark, the bolts really want to chew out, but I'm pretty happy we've got those to, you know, where they need to be.
you can kind of feel when they're not, you know, when they want to go, and you know, the stretch that they do when you tighten it in. So I'm pretty happy with all of them, to be fair. The good news is now that's on, which means we can build up the rest of the engine and gearbox, and yeah, not long till we get it back in.
So we can start to refit everything that we had to remove to change the sump in the first place, including that hybrid starter.
Okay, there we go.
Then once we got everything refitted, it was time for the gearbox to go back on. And then we can finally put on that piece which triggered all the work, this midsection of sump. And for this we use the same method we used for the upper sump, but the torque values are very different.
We're trying to follow the Mercedes torque specs, but they are a bit weird because this top section here that we've already fitted, this was the bolts here were torqued to 10 Newton meters. Now weirdly enough, the intermediate section to this is torqued to 39, and the bottom section is 12. Now 39 to me for a sump sounds a bit scary, so we've gone round, nipped them all up with the, you know, the 3/8 ratchet. I'm just going to get a feel for how 39 is to see how scary it is. Now annoyingly I can't really see it, which is always fun. Can you? That's 12. That's. I don't like it. I hate working to torque specs. I've already checked what Mercedes sent us when we bought these bolts, and also rang up to double confirm, and they've said, yeah, that's right. But bear in mind, like, you're using a big thing to lean on those with, and it didn't feel that tight when I was taking them off. That's why I'm so scared of it. And obviously the mistake we made earlier, which was my mistake, but. No, I'm not loving it either. That's 12. And you've got to bear in mind how big a thing you're using, haven't you?
Yeah.
I feel like it wouldn't be the first time though where the systems aren't right. We had it when we were ordering something at the McLaren the other day. The system was wrong and we had to tell them what was right. It's not the first time. Not saying it always happens, but I just don't trust 39 on that.
Now I wanted to test whether we could actually torque this to the specification that Mercedes said, 39 Newton meters, so we can test it in the old sump, and I'm glad that we did this.
There's 12. There's going looser.
There you go. What worries me is alley section, steel bolt. But yet they put alley bolts.
It's lucky we did them to 12 because otherwise they just spin for infinity. So, well done,
There's no
boys.
sense in that either. You'd have to get another pan.
Yeah. We're going to clean this bottom section up before we refit it to stop you lot moaning. And I suppose the next job then is getting everything ready to reassemble on the subframe, and then we can refit. So next job that we need to do before we can fit the engine into the car is sort out the front diff, because the one that we got has a big hole in it. Now we went and picked up one from a diesel which looks the same, but the gearing inside may be different. So our thoughts are, hopefully we can transfer over the casing from that one to this one to keep the standard internals and just do away with the damage. So we're going to go up to Gear Lab in Derby, who is a specialist in diffs, to get them checked over, make sure we're doing the right thing and doing it right, and fingers crossed that's going to work.
I can see it's bigger. You can see the size difference.
Yeah.
It's actually the longest tube, so it's that way. This casting is bigger that way.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's a bad day, isn't it?
The office with the early.
Yeah, it can go for it. Yeah. Fantastic.
So yeah, we can't put that into that.
Okay. Right, so this diff don't fit. The casing's slightly smaller by about 10mm, and the gears inside are a lot smaller, but the idea was to try and swap all the bits from the outside of this one over to this one. But it ain't gonna work. And the great news is, that's basically jumped to me now, so I'm going to try and send that back to the guys that sold it to me. Hopefully they will. But also I'm going to find another second-hand one, because they're going to be mega money from the main dealer. And the only option that I've got to strangely enough, is in China. It's always going to be a bit of a gamble, isn't it? It's like 900 quid for a reconditioned one. It says it fits the GLE63S, but we can't be sure. So I've sent them some numbers off that one. We've checked the ratio, which is 3.46.
Yeah.
So this is the same ratio as the one the guys in China are selling, but we're just waiting for them to come back with the numbers for the casting to make sure it's going to fit. If it does, I'll just order that one. Then it's from Temu. And it's now here, and I'm going to get Mickey to go up this time to Gear Lab.
Yep.
So you can take that.
Banking you and go and get it checked, yeah?
Yeah, I mean, things to note is it is actually a genuine Mercedes one, so that's a good sign. But again, we don't know how it's been refurbished. So Mickey's going to take this up to Gear Lab now. Hopefully, it's as we expect it to be, and it's all good. And I'm not sure, maybe it's worth taking that one, and we can see if we're going to swap over the casing, or just run that one as it is.
We'll try and make sure it's definitely the correct casing, you know what I mean? Yeah. So what we'll do is then we'll just check the ratio.
Yep.
So we'll pull it apart now.
Yep.
We'll do what we call a tooth count.
Yep.
And that'll tell us what the ratio is in this to make sure it matches his old one.
Our old one, yeah.
Yeah.
With a big hole in it.
So, we'll have to get rid of.
Just take a video of you. I find the click of a torque wrench very satisfying.
Oh. So it's good news about the diff. We're just going to run the Chinese one. So we're going to get this fitted up now. We've got a new, I don't know what you call it, from the transfer box to this, so like another drive shaft basically. And then pretty much after that, I think we're ready to mount the engine and gearbox on the subframe, aren't we? We certainly are. Sweet.
So we can get our new diff mounted on the subframe, and then it's time to fit the engine. So we've got to drag that over with the gearbox, which is not light, and then start to get it on top of that subframe.
And the engine is in place, the gearbox is mounted, it's on the subframe, the diff's on, the steering rack's on, suspension stayed on the car. We've let the subframe down into this position, so we're hoping, because we've raised the car off and it's just coming back down, the mounting holes line up and we haven't moved the subframe too much, because if we do need to move it, it's going to be pretty heavy, but there's only one way to find out. There's two things which we need to remember to do on the way down, gearbox wiring and also a fuel line, which is hiding somewhere. It's on this right hand side, so we're going to do those as it's going down. Most of the other stuff I think we can do once it's in, can't we? You ready?
I'm ready.
Now we just need to plumb it up and all the electric, and then fix the wiring, which we still haven't got to the bottom of, and a lot of other stuff.
I think we broke the back of it.
But it's back in.
Yeah.
There's no funny crunching noises from the chassis leg.
No.
Which is always good.
So we could start to fit up all of the extra bits for the engine, including plugging in the ECU, but there was quite a lot of broken stuff to deal with as well, so we've tried to order as much as we can, and we're going to replace all of that now.
So this is Mark. He runs a company called Mercedes Keys and Coding, is that right?
Yeah, that'll do.
Yeah?
That'll do. That's about right.
Okay, and do you want to tell everyone what you do before we get started on this? Because every time I do it, you say you get people calling you to try and make their A180D into a C63.
Yeah, into a C63. We do a lot of coding and repairs and mainly ECU and module solutions, probably call it. We definitely can't fit a 2025 front to a 2015 car.
He can fix things that other people sometimes can't fix, i.e. me, and fixing this, because this is a mess. And Mark's going to be the one that's doing all the code inside and doing all the resetting stuff, because he has the correct Mercedes software and the know-how. And if I repaired this, I know his first port of call in blaming someone is going to be, you've repaired the wiring wrong, this is your fault. So we want to make sure that he's happy with how it's repaired before we go into that side of things. So we're going to strip this back, use our GLS loom, cross-reference some bits, use some part numbers and pinouts and stuff like that. Make sure we're getting everything right, and try and do it in the neatest way. Which
Chances are you'd have a pyro fuse that's gone.
Yes.
So we need to work out where that is on this particular vehicle. They also, in the airbag circuit, have this, which is a refrigerant squib, they call it. And this cools the turbo. So when it's had a crash, they obviously presume that it's been while you're driving in anger.
Yeah.
So it might be hot. So that blows off.
I thought that was to get sounds from the turbo into the cabin.
They use the stereo for that, so
Okay.
that'll definitely need replacing.
We'll see if we can get it going. So, first port of call, wiring.
Yeah.
Get the wiring done.
Let's do it.
Wish us luck.
So Mark had set about trying to fix our new wiring using the new loom. We had to figure out what we needed and what we didn't, and we were praying that everything we needed was there.
We thought the GLS loom would be identical, especially because it's off an AMG, but it's not, because we have on our loom, we have a blind spot monitoring thing, which the GLS for some reason hasn't got, even though the front ends of these cars are basically the same. So we're going to take it out of this section, hope that the wires for it are okay, and then try and splice it into the new section, and then rewire it up to where it's damaged and where we've cut it. What's this, Mark?
That's the FlexRay cable.
Has your car got FlexRay? Pew pew.
So, so that's another network in itself. So as well as your CAN networks, you've got a FlexRay network which goes from the ABS pump to the steering rack to the ignition switch or module. If that network doesn't work, it doesn't start.
So no FlexRay, no car.
Yeah, basically.
So that holds basically as much information as all of these canvas wires.
It's a much faster system though. We're nearly there with sorting what wires we need, and then we'll go on with chopping that loom, matching the colours, making sure we've got the colours. Bit of solder. A couple of minutes later.
Mark has now finished the wiring repair for now.
Steady, not finished yet, but
For now.
nearly there.
We are at a point with it where we have a few spares,
Just a few spares.
which it's always good to have more than too little, right? But everything that is coming off the car is now wired up, right?
Yep, exactly.
And these may have a purpose, they may not, but we don't know at the moment.
Now, one thing which we forgot to do before installing the engine was cleaning up the earth points on our new chassis leg. So I can do my best to clean those up now the engine's in and we're going to fit the earths up.
Charger up.
Charging.
We have power.
Not set on fire.
It's not on fire yet. Oh, look at the ambient lighting.
Logged into Mercedes, so we'll do a quick test. It will read all our control modules in the car. Won't tell us the exact problem, but it will have clues. What I'm suspecting we'll find in that is the 48 volt battery will be off, I believe. So there's no communication to it.
Total battery voltage.
Which is a problem because we need the 48 volt battery to start the engine.
Is it? That must mean it's a good battery.
Crash cut off status, KL 30C cut off.
Ah.
Which is our pyro fuse. 30C is the pyro fuse cut.
Is there a lot of faults?
Are you ready?
Yeah, go on.
I'm scrolling.
Just read them out.
I can't read them out.
Okay.
I'd run out of time.
This video isn't long
There's a
enough.
driver fault, driver airbag fault, knee bag fault, passenger airbag fault, both passenger airbags, knee bag, window bag, front passenger belt, tension in the retractor, ETR, squib, both sides, crash sensors, both sides, right front rear door has crash sensor, invalid data from the electronic ignition lock. all of them current and stored.
This is going to be fun.
This is not going to be fun.
No.
So we were having a think as to what could cause this problem. There was nothing online, so we went over to the fuse box on the passenger side of the engine bay, which was damaged, so I decided to order a new one, but for now this one will work.
We've got ECU online now, so about 5 minutes ago we didn't have the ECU online. We found a problem with that front fuse box, and now we can access the ECU. We can see that it has stored a crash event, so we're going to reset that. It's still not going to start because we've still got some more work to do on it, but
It won't think it's crashed.
it won't think it's crashed in the ECU.
Enabling of engine start after crash event. This procedure was not completed successfully.
Not.
Further procedure, switch ignition off, then back on and repeat.
So we carried on plugging stuff in and trying to figure out this fault. And then we managed to get the ECU to reset the crash data, win, but there's still so many other things which we need to sort. So now we've finally got access to the ECU, we can read what it's saying, and it's not good news because every single part of this car, from the camshaft sensors to the oil pressure sensors and so much more, were reading faults. I decided to clean up the earths again, and this time we finally had some good news.
Come on. Well, that's a lot better, isn't it? We've got rid of all of the engine faults, really. So we've got wheel speed sensor, outside temperature sensor, communication unit suspension, which is obviously our big suspension pump, fan, and left front door. All the other stuff that was terrifying is gone. All because of an earth. Win.
Let's go and have a look at the fuses. Come on. Right.
Whilst you do that,
Yes, sir.
I think what I'm going to do is oil cooler, because we can't put any oil in it to try and start it until we've got that on, because otherwise it's going to
That'd be great.
sit out the front.
What did I say on YouTube? Roll the B-roll.
Okay. Change of plan. I thought I had the oil cooler, but I don't. So that's going to go to the side for now. It's all built up, ready to go on. But for now, we're going to bridge it.
And whilst I was sorting that out, Mark was checking over all of the fuses to see if they could be causing any issues.
How did we miss that fuse?
Which one?
The one that was blown.
You were the one that was testing them.
Fair dues. That's online now. Yep, heard it. I reckon we've got some other things online as well. Beep. Oh. AMG ride control sports suspension
Yeah, that's what we need.
is online.
It is online.
I don't know, I'll tell you in 1 second.
I got excited.
Oh, it is! But
It
it's
is
the
online.
wrong one.
Unknown control
It's the
unit
wrong one.
variant, yes.
Because that'll be active suspension, but it won't be the AMG active suspension. If it was able to be used, we could have flashed the control unit to think it was AMG, but I don't think so, personally. So that'll need to be 63 AMG, because it's not AMG
I bought so much diesel stuff for this, didn't I?
active.
This gets torqued all the way up.
All the newton meters.
All the years.
So then we've got to get the wheels on, get the car off the ramp and move it forward so we can remove the driver's seat and lift up the carpet to gain access to the 48 volt battery which we need to get working to start the car. And this is the same spot where the pyro fuse is located, which is going to need fixing for us to be able to start the car too.
The pyro fuse for this shuts off the 48 volt system because that's what starts the engine. Other people's videos usually see a big cable about this size with 2 points and it breaks that, so that doesn't start. But on this, it's merely 2 very small wires. I'm going to replace this now and hopefully that fault's gone.
And I have just finished filling it with oil. This is all going to get dropped out of it anyway. I think it's always good practice to give it a good flush through, but this is going to do for a first start and a first quick drive, and then we can go to all that stuff, making sure that everything's nice and fresh. So what do you want me to do? Try and put my foot on the brake?
I mean, yeah, just shoot it.
I mean, what, you trust it that much? I don't know if I do.
Wow. Wait.
It's doing engine stuff. We haven't got any fuel in, have we?
No, but it should turn over and that's what we want.
Okay. I think it works off brake pressure. Okay, so the start button at the moment is only doing the ignition, I think, because we have a lack of brake pedal. But Mark's about to confirm it.
I don't think there's anything in the authorisation system stopping it apart from your pressure.
If the clock spring is broken, there won't be any resistance, but if I very gently tickle it around, basically what happens is a ribbon inside and that should stop, but if it doesn't, then it's going to have a bad time. I think it's safe to say that has snapped, which means now it needs replacing.
This is going to stop the steering wheel buttons working, so I'll get a new clock spring ordered. And now it's onto the 48 volt battery, which Mark is now going to test to see if it's got enough juice in it to actually start the car, or whether it needs removing to have it charged and reset.
Right, we haven't got to take the battery out, we've just tested it. It's showing 44.6 volts, which is plenty, so there's something which is stopping the car from starting. All we've got to do now is find it. We're going to leave that like that because we've got to change the bottom battery casing, which we'll do tomorrow, so the battery's got to come out anyway. But we've got some more digging to do, which we will do in the morning. Mercedes keys, Mercedes coding, Mercedes specialist repairs. Does that sound good?
Precisely.
Go to Mark, the link's in the description. Good night. Thanks, Mark. Right, so we think partially one of the reasons this may not be starting is it's got no brake pressure. The brake line on the front on this side and on the rear got ripped in half in the crash. Now, instead of replacing them for the factory ones, which are very boring, we have fancy new braided ones. Are going to give better brake feel, and I think they're more resistant to brake fade as well, which is obviously going to be good when we're pushing this car to many horsepowers, and also they're cheaper. Let's fit these up, see if we can get some brake fluid in it, then try pumping up the brake pedal, get some brake pressure, and hopefully start it. Brake lines are on, time to bleed. We do have and brake pedal, which is good. The dash is back, not all the way back though, we've only got a little bit, missing part of the screen here. Here we go, dashboard is here. That means we have some power. We're gonna put a jump pack on here. We can't really do anything more. Brakes are done, what do we reckon, people?
I'm quietly optimistic.
Okay. Oh, hello.
Oh, please switch the ignition on and slip, John. Oh, shut up. Sorry for swearing.
What just happened? I don't even know.
That went to start up.
Yeah, but why did it not?
Probably because we've had all the fuel lines off, it's got no fuel pressure or nothing.
Stop vehicle, leave engine running, it's saying. I'd like to turn it over a bit, to be honest with you. Oh. Okay, boost mode's finished, so we need to disconnect that jump pack and then put it back on boost. That's good news, isn't it? It tried.
I see that as a win.
Well, we ain't won yet. We've won the first battle, but we ain't won the war yet.
So it's like a game of relay.
Yeah.
Right, we're winning the first leg.
The next step, I suppose, is find a way to turn it over, crank it before we start it, because we want to get some oil around everywhere. We can disconnect or remove the fuse for the fuel pump. Right, give us a few minutes and we should check back in. I've took the fuse out, which should stop it from starting. Should. If it will crank, it shouldn't start. He says. It literally went like that though, didn't it?
Yeah, that was on the button.
Yeah. It's really trying, isn't it?
Yeah.
But it shouldn't really be trying.
I think we've just got to try and start it. Put a little bit of fuel in it, just get a jerry can full of fuel.
Sounds good.
Swap over that. I'm going to put this fuse back in and we're just going to go for it.
Sweet, that sounds like a plan back.
We've cranked it a couple of times, like we've got a splash of oil everywhere. It's as much as we can do, it seems, isn't it? So the car was trying to start, but it wasn't quite going. So Mickey ran out to grab some fuel, and whilst he was doing that, I decided to change over this damaged fuse box to the new one. And now Mickey was back, he could pop some fuel in, but after all of this hard work, we were all hoping that we could actually get this engine started and hear it running for the first time. Come on, car.
That sounds angry. Yeah, well loud. Yeah.
Result!
That's a win.
Yeah!
Yes.
Right, we have a starting car. We're a long way from driving it, and that's the mission for this video, but it starts. So that's like the biggest tick, I think, off the list of jobs. Oh, what a win.
We didn't have to plug a computer into it.
Yeah. Everyone pat yourselves on the back. Mickey,
Yeah, man.
Mark, who's not here, everyone at home for watching. Not you, Ross.
Buzzing for that. I didn't expect that, did you?
Sounded alright as well.
Yeah,
it
it
did.
It sounded
okay.
pretty, well, yeah, for saying it's hit a tree.
Kind of dying to put the exhaust on there.
You smell that?
What is it? Success.
No, it actually smells of something. That sounded good as well, didn't it? It sounded meaty.
I'm dying to put the exhaust on.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you what, we've got the prop to go on, haven't we?
Yeah, prop exhaust. Shields.
Prop and exhaust, wheels, and we can try and move it forward under its own power.
I'm down with that.
Yeah? Okay.
Yeah.
Right, now I've got it started, on with the prop. That'll give us the ability to drive it. And also, we need to fill up the exhaust as well, so it's a little bit quieter. So thankfully, we've finally got the car started, but that is not the end goal for this video. We need to drive this car for the first time, and for that, we need the prop, we also need the rear left drive shaft, and we also need an exhaust. Now the new drive shaft is here, but that's not the only thing we need, because we need a new drive shaft seal for that passenger side. So I can get that fitted in and tap it in using the old seal to cushion it. And then that new drive shaft can go in. And then it's time for some diff oil. First job is drain the old stuff out of it. Now because this drive shaft's been out for so long, we don't actually know what's inside that diff. So first thing we do is run a litre through it with the drain plug still out to try and flush out any nasty stuff. Then we can pop the drain plug back in and fill it properly. And also then we can fill up that new diff on the front.
We need to figure out which of these go where, because normally there'd be a little marker on the end of it which goes to a certain port on the air pump for the suspension, and then that tells you where to put it. But these are snapped in half and they look identical, so what we're going to do is blow a bit of air down each one and hope that it corresponds to a corner. Then we can label it, pair them up, and we should be good to put it back together. So I'm going to start with this one. I know it does go to a tank as well, so I'm hoping it doesn't go from the tank, or is it just air stored in the tank? I don't know. Okay, let's try the other ones, because I think the front ones are going to be harder to tell.
Yeah.
I think these two here, there is two that go to the tank. I'd imagine that's those two.
Yeah.
Because this is a set of four, that's a pair of two. Go again.
Yeah.
Nothing.
No.
How about this one?
Oh yeah, that's this one.
Oh yeah. Right.
It went like right up well quick. Yeah.
Whoa. So that means this one should be that one.
Go on and give it a go. Yeah. Mate, alright, stop.
Brains. Oh, just put them down, no brains. That one, yeah. Oh.
No, RL. RR is the other one.
So I was looking at it forwards. This is a sign of a well-made exhaust. This is no lies. first fit, on first adjustment on the downpipes, which Nichromobium did, straight in, bish bash bosh. And that's without him even having the car to even test it on. As we found out last time Mark was here, he was just over there, new suspension air pump we got, no good. Now, that one was 800 quid second hand, this one, £1,000 brand new. Definitely the safest way of doing it. There was none for sale second hand either, so I didn't have a choice. But now we can mount this up, and then he can get to work on making this work for us, so we actually have working suspension.
First job is getting that new pump mounted. Then we had to decide what to do with the lines. Thankfully, the new pump came with these push-pull fittings, so all we had to do was snip the ends off the damaged lines, push these on, and then we could screw them onto the new pump. And whilst I was getting that buttoned up, Mark was changing over the clock spring, which is going to make all the steering wheel buttons work. And now our new pyro fuse is here, so we can get rid of the one which we had to temporarily make work and replace it with the permanent fix. Then all we had to do was plug in and see if this new unit is going to work.
It already had some stored values in the new pump app, so I left those in there for now just to see where it went. So we've pressurised the tank in the boot, and now it's filled the bags for us. So it's got some highlights.
It's not on the deck. It's not looking too bad.
Front still needs to come up, I think.
Oh, does it?
Yeah, if you look on this one.
Left saying it's fine. So
Okay.
let's say all the way up.
Yeah! All the way up. Nothing can stop. All the way up.
Wiring's right. No faults in the airmatic. Looking good.
Yeah, excellent.
Here's where we're at. We know the engine starts. We should be able to get it started again. Shouldn't be an issue. Suspension appears to be working. We've got all of the oils in the diffs. Oil's already in the gearbox. Oil's already in the transfer box. And obviously there's oil in the engine. All good stuff?
I think so.
Yes, me too. We've got a seat in it, steering wheels in it, and we've got the original headlight back in this side. Now, we want to see whether our headlight that we've bought second hand is going to work. This is from a diesel, same as loads of stuff which hasn't worked. I'm hoping this one does, because with my AMG GT, even though the part number didn't match, the headlight was the same and it plugged in and worked straight away. This part number does not match, so it may be a stupid decision buying it.
I'm not really confident.
Well, I'm gonna say I hope it works. It looks the same, it's the same sort of headlight, they're both multi-beam LEDs. So going off what I know with Mercedes, knowing that if it's the same sort of headlight in the GT, I think it's gonna work in this. Mickey doesn't think it's gonna work, but let's find out. Headlights on. Let's see if I've wasted even more money. Should we play the game again? We did it with the McLaren, didn't we? And I won that one, so I had to get all of you to subscribe. So if the headlight doesn't work, you can unsubscribe. But if it does work, then you've all got to subscribe. That sound like a deal? Or should we play rock, paper, scissors? I win. Subscribe. I don't know if we've got enough power.
Oh.
Come on. Right, let's see where we're at.
I lost.
That one works. Mercedes Master.
You lost. I lost, you win.
To see if everything works.
Yeah.
Indicators coming up.
Yep.
Is that everything?
Flashing flat, everything works, bro. Like, subscribe, because Chris is right with the headlight. I was a poet and I didn't know it.
This is the moment. We've been building up to it the whole video. It's time to try and drive this for the first time. What is going on with my seat? I'm about to get squashed. I'm about to get squashed. You guys getting in? You got your seatbelt on?
Yes.
Me too. Right, here we go. Mickey, As soon as I start it, because we can't leave it running for long, so we've got no coolant, I'll need to unhook that jump pack, yeah? Bonnet down! Can we get drive? We're in drive! We're driving! We're driving! Oh, this is scary. I feel like something's gonna fall off. Driving, driving, Mercedes is driving. Check my mirrors. Mirror signal maneuver.
Do we have reverse?
Let's check it. We have reverse.
Yes.
And a reversing camera. Nice. And back in. We ain't got long. I ain't got to worry about ground clearance in this, have I? And we are in, and we are done. Mission successful. First driving the GLE63S complete. Don't forget to like this video. Don't forget to subscribe. And I will catch you next time.